It is your Classic Metal Show right here on the ClassicMetalShow.com. That is the brand new Temple of Rock from the Spirit on a Mission release, featuring the legendary guitarist, Mr. Michael Schenker. And I want to welcome back to the Classic Metal Show, Michael Schenker. Hi, Michael.
Hello.
How are you, Michael?
I'm very good. How are you?
Excellent. Well, I tell you what, Michael, it's always an honor to have a legend such as yourself back on the Classic Metal Show.
Thank you.
We've had you on the show a few times before, and it's always a welcome to have you back again.
Thank you.
Well, Michael, you never seem to slow down. You're always forging forward with all the projects that you've had over your illustrious career, and the Temple of Rock is no exception to the rule. But now you're back with just a slammin' new disc, which features Doogie White on lead vocal, as well as a couple of your former Scorpion bandmates.
Absolutely. Hermann Werbel and Francis Buchholz, the original Rock You Like a Hurricane, Scorpion's rhythm section.
Sure. Well, you've got 3/5 of one of the popular lineups of the Scorpions. Now we got to just add your brother and Klaus Meine, and you could have a reunion show.
Yeah, we could.
But I know you're way past that because you are forging new territory with this latest Temple of Rock release. Now, Michael, I need to ask you, you've had so many different projects over your career. We just mentioned the Scorpions and, of course, UFO and MSG and its various lineups. What separates Temple of Rock from any one of those other projects?
Well, Temple of Rock is basically came about step by step. It developed right from 2010, 2011 when I went into the studio making a demo, and I just randomly, I was in a rehearsal studio with Pete Way and Hermann Werbel to work on a live project, and then I went into the studio, and when I was in the studio and I put down my music, I asked Michael Voss if he could help me out with guide vocals, and when he was singing, I went, wow, you can sing, why don't you sing on the album? So, I played the demo to Pete Way and to Hermann Werbel, and they liked it so much they wanted to be the rhythm section, and then I was going to go on tour, and Michael Voss wasn't available. Then I had Robin sing in America, and Doogie was ready for the European part, and then, and then Pete Way wasn't doing too well, and then I asked Herman, why don't you ask Francis what he's up to? We play a lot of Scorpion stuff. And so that's how it came all about, and then step by step, month after month, we started touring. It was getting better and better, and so basically what I did was I put together the most it's a live show, the most popular of Michael Schenker music of the past and present, and that's basically the Temple of Rock. Because I've been writing for over 43 years from within. I stopped listening to music when I was 18, and I stopped copying around the same time. So from then on, my focus was always on pure self-expression as much as possible. And so when I decided to do Temple of Rock, it was for me time started around 2008. I kind of felt like I wanted to be back in the loop of rock and roll, and so that's when it slowly developed into when I finally thought like, well, it's time for, summing it all up, and so I put sets together that would always involve my most popular music over the past and the present, and I kept making albums with Temple of Rock. We did Bridge the Gap, and then we also did a video, which I thought I'd quickly do a video before something happened, in 2012. And then we did Bridge the Gap, and then with Bridge the Gap, I already knew what I wanted to do with the next album, which now is Spirit on a Mission. And so basically, Temple of Rock is putting all emotions together from past and now, and putting it all, on one record every time I make one at this point in time. And it seems like, the 30-year cycle of in the head, in the brain, is kind of I feel like I'm reliving my youth, and so that all, puts it all together and sums it all up.
Sure, absolutely. Now, a guy like yourself, we talked about your whole body of work, which this Temple of Rock is trying to put the spotlight on. How do you continue creating new music and new riffs and new ideas after hundreds and hundreds of songs? As somebody,
well, this is I understand. This is the whole thing. When I was 18 years old, instinctively, I knew I need to withdraw from music and don't be a consumer, but be a creator. And that's what my passion is. I love to create and create and create, and from within. And so, focusing on pure self-expression. And also, I knew instinctively that, around 17 and a half and 18 years old, to stop copying other people and look inside myself and see how I would do it, and doing that, I preserved myself. Basically, I didn't consume, which takes lots of energy, and so, I rather focus on creating. And so, basically by not listening to the music that I fell in love with, like the type of music like Zeppelin, Black Sabbath, Deep Purple and stuff, by not, focusing on others, but creating, you kind of, and not being really, and, like my life comes in three sections, like the first part of my life was more like my musical development and musical contribution to the created in the 70s for the 80s, and then in the 80s I did the Love Drive album with my brother, and that opened the doors for America. And then I withdrew, and the Scorpions basically put together. They were more made for the 80s, where I was more made for the 70s, and then. In the middle years of my life, I focused more on experimenting and developing on the personal level as well as on the musical level, and also to experiment doing, instrumentals and all sorts of things I couldn't have done with the commercial touring band. And so around 2008, I decided I felt like something was calling me to be, back in the loop of rock and roll. And so sometimes it feels to me like, that there's more than meets the eye, and, maybe I have been preserved for this particular, be there in the beginning and be there in the final. And basically I'm doing now, my focus is in putting the music that I fell in love with, that inspired me, with Zeppelin and Deep Purple, Black Sabbath, to put that era, this incredible era of almost 50 years of music to the foreground once again, because and to like so many, it will be soon just be a memory, that there won't be anybody from that era there anymore. And Gary Moore, Ronnie James Dio, and Rory Gallagher, Elvin Lee, all these guys, they have already passed away. And so I want to put this to the foreground and really celebrate this incredible era, and also celebrate the things I've learned in life and do that. So
basically you're saying you come full circle.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, very cool. Well, I understand that there were some challenges with this new recording, this new Spirit on a Mission. I understand that some of your guitars and some of the first recordings got stolen?
Yeah. We started in the studio, and then after a few weeks, somebody broke into the recording studio and stole, I think 4 of my guitars, and then some of Michael Fossil's and some music, some performances we already had put down. And it was really upsetting and really annoying, but we got over it, and we just worked twice as hard and made it twice as good.
Right, absolutely. Did anything ever come of that? Did you ever find out what happened or who did it? Or?
No, actually, I don't really put much energy into wanting to find out. If the police find something, they will let us know, I guess. But other than that, I just focus on moving forward and dealing with now rather than whining after something that disappeared.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I hope none of your prized guitars got stolen or anything that really meant a lot to you.
Well, luckily, fortunately, fortunately, being guitarists, they make each guitar they build perfectly, likable for myself. And so, when it's just like, I mean, even though I have a lot of designs out at this point in time, but they always come up with a new idea on presenting me to approve, and it's always fun to actually keep coming up with new designs, to be honest.
Sure, absolutely. Now, I need to ask you real quick, a couple years ago, there was some rumblings or some talk that you wanted to do something with Dokken and maybe do some recording with him. Whatever became of that?
Yeah, there was we kept bumping into each other, and then one day, like one morning, we ended up at the same festival, and we both were in a breakfast room, and we talked about music, and then he talked about acoustic and stuff, and then I had this idea. I said, look, I have lots of acoustic music, I can send you some, and then you come up with something, and he did, and we did like 5 songs together, really, really good stuff, and so, but then, that's in the middle, that all happened in the middle of Temple of Rock. So I'm really doing, I put one of the songs on the Bridge the Gap album as a bonus track, and just to introduce what it would be like if Don and I did an acoustic thing together. And that's basically the idea, and it's not forgotten. It's still there, and it can happen whenever, the time is available for us to do that.
Sure, absolutely. I guess you're going to play a couple of shows here in the States with Don opening up for you.
Yeah, I think in his area, I think I don't really know exactly what kind of a show he's doing, but yeah, that's right.
Excellent. Well, good stuff. Well, Michael, tell us a little bit about this Temple Rock, something that stands out for you. I know that your bandmates there helped do some writing and contributions to the songs and whatnot. So, what makes this specific release special to you?
Well, with Bridge the Gap, I mean, I had a concept, Bridge the Gap, what I wanted it to be like, and as we did Bridge the Gap already, as we finished that, I already knew what I wanted to add additionally to Spirit on a Mission, to bring it to the next level. And so on Bridge the Gap, I introduced a little bit of Wayne's 7-string guitar, and for this album, I was focusing on making it, more of a 7-string, and to give the album a wide range of sounds and emotions available to hear. Which so the concept basically was to kind of have 5 really fast songs and very melodic and energetic, and with great vocals, of course, and then the other 5 songs more with a 7-string involved, and again, which adds the heaviness and the depth to it because of the low of the 7-string, and then in the middle a couple of UFO what I used to write with UFO, like mid-tempo type of thing, and to me that felt that was all around great balanced album. And so, and also I was focusing a bit more on, on Wayne to make him, to make him become a specialist in this band who is, responsible for the 7-string. So this way he is not as, the 5th wheel on the wagon. He's becoming an important part now. And, I asked Wayne to write, a few riffs, and so he did, and I added my parts to it, and then Dewey came up with incredible vocals, and I realized that we had an additional great writing team and chemistry between us 3 as well.
Sure, absolutely. Now, you mentioned, how difficult it is to tour since you're a multinational act, and is everybody in this lineup on board to be able to go tour this thing this year?
Yeah, then I tried to do that, at the beginning of last year, and but because the album was coming out in the States, but we weren't ready to tour as the album lineup in the States. So I decided to come over with Doogie and introduce him first, and then we were trying to come back again in the autumn, but it took until now, and so now in the end of March we're going to be there in the States for the first time with Herman and Francis and Wayne and Doogie, and with this Bridge the Gap and Spirit on a Mission lineup, Temple of Rock, and it's very exciting because we have never been there together.
Sure, absolutely. Now, what is your favorite type of venue to play? Do you like a smaller theater type thing, or do you like larger festivals, or does it matter to you?
Yeah, it's win some, lose some. Every venue, size venue has got its advantages, disadvantages. I love playing live since 2008. I never did before. I don't know what happened, but I guess that was the preservation that was kept away from me until the final days, and so I really enjoy playing, so I also enjoy having very tight contact with the audience these days, which you don't have on a big stage. But on a big stage, you have a great sound. And, it's a theater sound. In a theater, you have a bit of each. And so each type of venue, I have been performing on all sizes of stages. And so basically, I have been trained to be to deal with each size, and so for me, it's all good.
Absolutely. Now, a couple of years ago, you re-teamed up with Robin McCauley and kind of did the kind of the throwback MSG thing. I wanted to see the show when it came through the Chicago area, but unfortunately, I wasn't able to attend. How did those shows go for you?
Oh, great! Robin has developed amazingly. He is getting, as he gets older, he is getting better, and he was doing a really good performance with us. But it was more Temple of Rock. It was more, most popular music of Michael Schenker. We didn't really play anything from our Michael Schenker period, except for Save Yourself, I think. But but it's Robin is family, and I have many families, and so I hopefully have many more years to live and can do something with each family, and so that's what I'm looking forward to, and I'm just kind of keep playing and developing and keep playing and discovering, and so I have, like you asked me earlier, where do you get all my inspiration, all my music after all these years? But it comes from within, and it's endless. And I've been doing this for 43 years, so I'm always, because I have decided very early in life to express myself rather than expressing other people. I have automatically created my own style, and I'm not stuck in the groove of someone else. So when you go within, if a person makes the choice to write from within, it's an infinite place. You can always come up with a new color that has never been heard yet, because only you can open up and show what's inside of you. Nobody else can do that for you. So whenever a person decides to do that, they add something to the world, a color to the world that hasn't been seen. And so therefore, if you, and I keep playing and discovering on a regular basis, which means I always discover a few more sprinkles when it's time to make the next record. I sprinkle them over there, and it gives it always an additional flavor.
Sure. Well, Michael, looking back over your career, can you pinpoint one particular turning point for you, or one of the most fond memories, or the one thing that you're most proud of over your long career? Does something just jump out at you when I ask you that question?
No, it's basically, for me, life is about a continuous development. I go back. I tell you, I can tell you year after year. Phenomenon. I mean, the first Scorpions album, Lonesome Crow, it was an excitement. I'm hearing my music coming out of the same radio I heard Led Zeppelin coming out of 2 years before, and it was very incredible experience. Having said no, that could be one of the most incredible, very incredible experiences to being 15 years old, making a record and hearing it at age of 16, coming out of the same radio where Led Zeppelin was coming out of. And that was my first album. And then with 17 and a half, I joined UFO. I was in England, with no English, not speaking English, and being in a British band where I always wanted to be in, because that's where the music came from for me, and they understood what it was all about, rather than in Germany. It was kind of, there was disco music, no management allowed, we were just stuck there. And so in that move to England with the first album of UFO Phenomenon, was an incredible experience. And then, and then next album, Forced It, next album, No Heavy Petting, next album, Lights Out. You can hear every year, well, I can, the development of getting, getting better and developing as a guitarist. And so for me, it's like a book. And the same for me when I make an album, I look at an album like Spirit on a Mission. For me is a well-balanced album from beginning to end, like a book that, you have to make sure it doesn't get boring and it takes you all the way to the end. And so it seems to be my life structure seems to be the same thing,
Sure.
Sure. It seems to be all kind of interrelated with everything. And so, that my whole life up to this point seems to be a consistent, stuff of development, and I love to be in the now, so I don't really like to get stuck in the past and dwell on that. It's just, for me, the most exciting moments are really always in the now and dealing with the challenges that come up in the moment, because they make the difference. They are basically my teachers, that will bring me to the next level.
Absolutely. Well, Michael, again, it is a pleasure having you here on the Classic Metal Show. Congratulations on the new Temple of Rock release. Check out Michael's website over at michaelschenkerhimself.com, or you can go visit him over there at his Facebook at Michael Schenker Rocks. So all the tour dates and whatnot will be over there, and go pick up the new CD. It's a ass kicker, and Michael certainly delivers. So anything else, Michael?
No, that's it. We are very excited to seeing everybody over there in the States, and hello from Herman, Francis, and Dougie, and myself, and Herman, Francis, Dougie, myself, and Wayne. And, we'll see you soon, and keep on rocking.
Excellent. Well, Michael, we always let the artists pick a song from the new release to take us out of the interview. So what should we play, and maybe tell us a quick story about it?
Yeah, Live and Let Live.
Okay.
It's my favorite song, and it's the first song on the album, so that should be easy to find.
Excellent, excellent. All right, the new one from Michael Schenker, Temple of Rock, Spirit on a Mission. This is Live and Let Live, exclusively here on your Classic Metal Show.